we are back again with another process video showing you an entry in my Bible. This is actually the kit, the devotional kit for Illustrated Faith for July, and this month's is called I Am. Of course, you can buy these kits anytime, but I will be working through it along with a lot of others as it's released, and so you'll find these posts centered around it on social media. So it's good to go ahead and order it now and do it while everybody else is, so you can get inspiration. But before we get started, I do want to say a huge thank you to Dayspring for sending me this kit to work through and to show you guys some new ideas and ways that you can use it too. So thank you to them. But let's go ahead and just dive in and get started. So let me get this little pouch out of the way. And again, the kit is called I Am, the devotion is, and we're going to just start and work with day one. And day one is talking about being free from fear. So we're going to primarily focus on the stamps that came in the kit. I want to show you how you can use some fun ways to use the florals that were included in the leaves. So we're going to be doing primarily the stamps, and then the way I'm going to be using those is not necessarily what you would typically think of with ink. We're going to be using the gelatos. These are Faber-Castell gelatos, and so I have a couple colors that I've played with that I think are going to match the colors that were on the devotional that are also in the stickers. So I kind of want to keep that all the same theme going here. But the colors that I will be using, I have this one is Iced Currant, a Iced Rose. This one is called Pistachio. And then this one is Gold Champagne. And so these three came from the metallic set that you can get. And then this one just came from a set actually that just had different shades of green in it. But you could probably still find it like in a basic color set with some other colors too. So we're going to be using those with our stamps. And then I've got me some water and also a brush. So let me show you first how I want to do that. The stamps we're going to put off for now and wait on using those because we're not going to need them right this moment, and I'm going to show you how I want to do this. So first let me show you on a piece of scrap paper. So if I was to make a flower using the gelato, I'm going to be trying to get my shapes to be round like the stamps are here, maybe like this one, so that I can put my color down with the gelato. I'll show you that technique, and then I want to stamp over it with black ink to give it that dimension and color variance, okay? So first, what you're going to do is kind of try to mimic that as best you can. Take your paintbrush and get a little bit of paint, and this is going to give it a watercolor effect. So then I would just apply some of that water, and this is going to make it bigger. The flower's bigger than probably the stamp, but that's kind of the fun in it, so that your color will outrun it. And then when you go to stamp the black, you can see how that's going to add some color there. So you could actually do two different flowers on that one because that one did kind of go bigger. Another way that you could use these gelatos is just to apply the water straight to the tip of it. And then you would just brush right onto the page, which I kind of like doing it this way because I feel like I have a little bit more control of how big I want it. And then I can measure it like that would be perfect with the stamp. So you can try it that way. And then there's one other way that you could do it. I want to show you over here on the scrap paper. Let me move that. If I was to just kind of draw my color on there using the stick, I could get a wet cloth or a baby wipe. Just something that has a little bit of moisture. And then I could just rub it all like that. So you see you're getting the same effect. It's just depending on what you like. If you're more comfortable with just doing the wipe, if you continue to wipe more, you're going to get, more and more of that water or the color blended in with more watercolor effect with the wipe, just like you could with a brush. So that's kind of up to you what you're comfortable with. But for today's purposes, I'm going to just use the paintbrush with the gelato. So I've put my mat under the page to protect it. And let me get, I forgot one little thing. Let me grab my washcloth and also my ink pads. Okay, now that I have grabbed those things, I'm going to go ahead and let's get started on the page. Now, I want to give this page kind of a color, a base or something to kind of make it stand out when I do these flowers. So I'm going to add just a little bit of white paint directly onto my brush, and then I'm thinking I'll probably do a few bursts of flowers here, up here, you know, maybe some down in here. So I want to give this page kind of like a canvas to work off of when I do the gelatos, and so that's what this is. Now, I'm not applying this very thick. It is kind of thin, so you know, be mindful of that, and don't brush like I just did in that direction, because you'll get your page to come up. And so that's all I'm doing right there, is just adding a little bit of colors so that when I do put the flowers on there with the gelatos, it's going to have something to make it pop so the flowers don't kind of blend off into the page like they might if it just was plain. You could leave it plain, but I just think this is going to be kind of fun to add some color to the page. And then I'm going to also use or be writing my journaling. I think I'm going to do it in the middle of the page. So I'm just going to go ahead, add some more of that white right there. I like kind of how it's not perfectly brushed on. It's kind of messy looking. And I think that's going to be, you know, a lot of fun too. We don't have to have it looking perfect. Okay, so now that we have that on there, it shouldn't take too long to dry. Actually, it feels like it's already drying. Yeah, pretty good. Maybe just a tad bit up there, but overall, if you do want to dry a little quicker, you can use the heat gun. I'll hit mine real quick. Okay, so there we have it. Now, I am going to go ahead and we'll get started with the gelatos, and the technique that I probably want to use today is going to be just adding water directly to the gelato. In the past, I've pretty much put it on the page, added water, and been done with it, but because I want these to be a little bit more precise, I'm going to do it a little differently. But I want to have my stamps handy so that I can be looking at what shapes I need and what sizes. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of water again to the tip of that gelato. Okay, and then we're just going to come right over here and make that kind of oval circle shape straight on the page. Okay, and so that's all you're going to do. You're just going to keep adding those, and I'll do another one in another color in just a second so I can show you how they're going to look together. If you feel like you're getting too much on it, just dab it off on a cloth, and then we'll just add another one here. You can see that one had a little bit more water in it, and if you feel like you have too much water, dab it off. Be careful with the white paint though, because like that one, I didn't have as much water, and so it didn't pick up the white. If you are using washable paints, just be mindful, because that one kind of blended in, which I like, that it kind of gives it a different color or tone, but just be aware. You can always let it dry and go back over it if you want it to be a little bit darker of a color or deeper. And then this is going to be the next color, the iced rose, kind of like a rose gold. So I'm going to wash my brush out a little bit before I use this one. And then let's go ahead and wet the tip of it. I think I'll just kind of come in up here. I will say that this color goes on a little bit lighter when I was practicing, so you might find that just rubbing it directly on the page, even after you've added water. It's kind of a cool look. And you don't even have to add any extra water to that. It kind of keeps it thicker. That's a fun way to try it too. And so that's what I think I'll just do right here. If I want to add any water, I can, you know, here or there to hit it. But it kind of looks neat to do it directly on the page, and then you can go back with more water. Now these might be looking a little too perfect, but when you add the stamp, you'll get that look better, and it won't look like you've just put polka dots or circles all over your page. So this stamped in here has the leaves, so I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of green, maybe below here. And if this doesn't turn out exactly perfect when you stamp it, it's okay. It doesn't have to be, by no means, okay? And then I'm gonna go over here and add some more flowers, just like that, okay? And that's all I'm doing. I'm just wetting the tip of it and then brushing it right on. If you want to put it right on the page, you can do that, like that one, and then add a little water so that it smooths it out, and you're good to go, okay? So to show you how it's going to look with the stamps, let's go ahead and before I continue the rest of the page, I'm going to go ahead and peel off one of the stamps to show you. And I've got my block, just put that right on there. I have my ink pad. So let's see, for this one, that's perfect. Let's go ahead and stamp that down. And then I'm going to just apply it directly over the top of that jar. Okay, then you're just going to pull the stamp off, and there you have it. You see that color around it, and then you've actually got the black stamp to give it some definition. So I'm going to continue doing that with the other ones, and then you can see how that's going to look. And that's what I'm doing on all of these. So play around with it. You certainly don't have to put the stamp on top of it. I just think it's fun, and it adds a little bit of dimension and color to it. Okay, so there we have it. Now, I'm going to just continue doing that with the stamps and also with the gelatos on down the page. And then when I get a little bit farther along, I will come back and show you the rest of the page. Okay, ladies, I'm back. So this is the completed page. As you can tell, it looks a lot different than it did when I started out just with a little bit of gelatos, but this will show you how far you can go once you start with them. So I continued on the page. I did more of the flowers down here, some more of the gelatos and the leaves throughout these to kind of connect and bring them about. And so that kind of pulled it all together. I like how that happened. So then I just went over it with stamps. I used the stamps that came with it for the leaves and for the flowers. And then I also had used the free stamp that's on a leaf and kind of blended that in with the leaves as well. Then once all of that dried, I went back and just started adding my little extra details. I like to kind of illustrate what this verse or passage or maybe what that devotion meant to me for that day. And so this day, she is talking all about being fearless. And so it comes from 1 John 4, chapter 4, verses 8 through 18 about God, and God perfect love cast out all fear. And so what I have written here was, I will fast fear, meaning fasting usually is abstaining from food, but it can be from anything. So I have written, I will fast fear. I will abstain from fear. When fear tries to enter my thoughts or mind, I will immediately rebuke it. And so because perfect love means I'm free, which is kind of what she talks about as well. So I've put that he is the faithful sticker there. For things that you may be going through, he is always going to be faithful when fear tries to creep in. Turn to him. And so up here, I also put my trust is in the Lord. That's another stamp that came with the kit. And then I just added a tab. I added some washi, some extra little hearts and cross that came with it. I highlighted the passage that she talks about, which was all of this bottom part. And I just used that gelato, wet the top of it with the brush and brushed over it. And that I highlighted that and kind of left it still transparent where I can read it. So I really love how that turned out. I can tell this is going to be a super fun kit with all the florals and the flowers that I'm doing with the gelatos and watercolors. So make sure to get your kit. It is the I Am kit from Illustrated Faith. I will leave a link down below in the description where you can order yours. Also, I have a video that I will link below that is an unboxing, so it shows you everything that came in the kit, the devotional, all of the different supplies with the stickers. So make sure you go and check that video out as well so you can see exactly what came in it, not just what I used. And also in that video there's a little bonus at the end, so make sure you watch the whole thing and it will show you something new that has come to Illustrated Faith as well. But make sure you head over. The kits are now available, so order yours now, and I can't wait to see what you do with all the beautiful florals. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.